Wake up, wake up.
I got the champagne. We're gonna need it.
Yeah, it's about that time.
Your favorite street plugs are here to deliver.
Good morning. It's your girl Bia
And your girl Key.
with another episode of Champagne Mornings where we give you a whole lot real early in the morning.
And you might need some champagne with it.
We're going to start this episode off like we do every day with a segment called It's Too Early for This. Key, what you got for us?
Another Florida one.
Florida.
Florida always gives me all the tea. So this man decided he didn't feel like going into work. Florida men don't like to work, clearly, because that was our last one. And
Oh, yeah. Well, he was mad at his co-workers last time, right?
yeah,
Okay.
and drugged them all.
And drugged them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this Florida man faked the robbery so he didn't have to go to work.
He faked a robbery? Like he
Like
said
he
his
called
house
the
got
police
robbed?
and said he got robbed. Like he was strong arm robbed, gun in the face. They took him for all his stuff. Yada, yada, yada. All lies. The police showed up. I don't know if he didn't expect the police to show up or something. But they showed up to investigate, and he folded really quickly. It was like, didn't happen. He's in jail.
I was about to say it. I know they arrested him for that because that's just outright, especially to say you got robbed or something like that, like a false report. You see how they was about to do Jesse Smollett on a false report?
I still don't understand how they counted up 16 counts of anything for Jesse. But
It obviously don't matter because Thirsty handled that mess.
Thirsty handled that quick, smooth, and made him silence that shit. Don't speak on it.
That's so crazy.
That's why we need a Thirsty.
Definitely need a Thirsty on the squad. That's ridiculous. Anyways, of course, as we all know, this is a very sad week, probably sad month for anybody in hip hop with the death of Nipsey Hussle.
That hurt, yo.
Bad. Like I really feel like
I'm mourning somebody.
Yeah, like I mean, everybody knew. I had people hit me like, I know you love
That's how I
love
found
Nipsey
out.
Hussle, and I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm like hella pissed off.
That's
right
how I
now.
found out, actually, because I was at work. So I wasn't on Facebook. I wasn't on Insta. I didn't see all the headlines break. And somebody hit me like, I know you're sad. Nipsey's gone. And I was like, nigga, don't text my phone with no bullshit like that. Like, fuck you mean? And so I immediately switched over to Insta and just went to my feed. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, my first notice was when the shooting happened. And then I'm like, okay, he got to pull through, please pull through. Nipsey, we need you. And, obviously he didn't. So this episode will be all about Nipsey Hussle, of course.
It needs to be.
Why would we not? Nipsey Hussle, his real name, Ermias Davidson, asked him. His father is African. His mother's American. And I want to say, I could be wrong, but I want to say that his father's Ethiopian. I know that his father's African for sure, but I want to say it's Ethiopian.
Ethiopians females are really pretty.
Yeah. So he has 2 children, and then of course he leaves behind his girl Lauren London.
My heart hurts for her, yo.
That's one of the first people I immediately thought of, like the kids too, but Lauren London, like
She was there. She watched it. I couldn't imagine, like, watching somebody I love like that just get shot and taken from me. With their
all on the
arms
ground,
reached.
and they're trying to give him CPR.
Like, she
the whole
watched
mess.
all of that take place. They were taking pictures before at the shop, and my heart hurts for her right now.
And then, so of course, with this death, everybody's talking about, is it gang violence or is it the Dr. Sebi thing? And I had posted on my Facebook the same thing. Like, it really doesn't matter which one it is at this point. Like, I'm just mad that he got hit, and I'm mad that he's gone.
Agreed.
I don't believe that it's anything gang related because he's been outside of gangs. Like, he hasn't been gang banging for so many years now. If it was gang related, I feel like they would have already hit him for it.
That's where I feel it's not gang related. He's too touchable. This was the nigga that was still out in the hood days. His store's right there. Like, we pulled up on his store. He wasn't there at the time, but we pulled up. It's very known, And he's been in his store. There was plenty of people posting pictures of when they just pulled up and he happened to be there. So it's not like he's not accessible. So if it was gang violence, he would have been touched.
And a lot of people, there's a couple different things about it though, because we also know that there's going to be people who try to get him for clout from another gang.
True.
You know, there's going to be people who may have harvest some just because you're great. Like when you are great, and you're not just trying to be great, like you've already made it. He's already great. He's already an icon living.
He was a living.
You know
icon.
what I mean? You're automatically going to be a target for people. And then on top of that, you got the government, because the government killed Dr. Sebi, right?
Facts.
The government killed Dr. Sebi, and now he's doing the documentary on them. And if he's doing the documentary on Dr. Sebi, like he even said, if they kill me for this documentary, y'all better ride.
The moment he released that he was doing that documentary, everybody was like, protect him.
Right, because
everybody knew what was good. They knew he wasn't safe the moment he announced that. They've tried to silence everyone that's ever attempted to speak on Dr. Sebi.
They silenced Dr. Sebi himself. How did they silence him? He was curing multiple people, and then he went to jail because he was talking about how he can cure AIDS, he can cure diabetes, and even all the way back to saying that he can cure blindness.
Right.
He went to court, proved his case, proved his
proved
science,
that he was right,
proved that he has done this, what regimens he did, and that it's actually true. Because they take that seriously. Like if you say you can do something medically, and
you have to be able to prove it.
Even
if
you are a doctor, like you
can lose your license if you are a doctor and you say you can do something, you can't.
So he had left the U.S. He had met with some executives and high people here, government officials, all of that. Met them. He had left the U.S. He traveled to another country, and then he was on his way back to Honduras. Well, when he was back to Honduras, where he was from, obviously, how I first found out Dr. Sebi was with Left Eye, and Left Eye went to Honduras.
Right.
That's how I found out. But he was on his way back to Honduras, and then he got picked up at the airport by the police because he had hella cash on him. So he had $37,000 in cash.
Hella cash.
Right. So they arrested him for money laundering.
That was a bullshit charge.
Of course. They arrested him for money laundering. He was in one jail. He got released. And then he went to, and then that's when he was on his way to Honduras. Then the Honduras picked him up for money laundering. And then he caught pneumonia while he was in there.
It's the nigga that cured everything caught pneumonia. That's what's always pissed me off. Like, you guys couldn't have just shot. You guys wanted to. I feel like with his death, they attempted to discredit him while silencing him.
And so they waited till the last minute to get him any type of medical condition attention. And on top of that, he's not home with all his holistic health stuff. He's in jail. There's not much he can do for himself in jail, so he allowed them to take him to the hospital, and then he ends up dying. But even his mom had told him, remember, he said that his mom told him once he cured his second AIDS patient, like, you're in dangerous grounds, they're gonna kill you.
Everyone knows once you start touching their pockets, once you start releasing shit that's making them all their money, your life's in danger.
Facts. So this episode is going to be all about Nipsey Hussle. We're going to go through a bunch of quotes. We're going to go through his life. We're going to talk about some things that he stood for, how we stand for some of the things that we stand for, and just have some good conversation. So make sure you guys stay tapped in. I'm going to go ahead and play you guys a song, and we're going to get into the show like we always do. The name of this song is On My Shit. The artist is Mike D's.
Check out my fly ass kicks. Look at my fine ass bitch and my bomb ass whip. I know you see me spinning these chips. You ain't never seen a nigga like this. I be on my shit. 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 I feel like Ric Flair in this bitch. If you ain't getting money, partner, go and get your son. This is stunting 101. I'ma show you how it's done. Niggas screaming that they winning, but I already won. Niggas flexing for these bitches, but I do this shit for fun. I be icy than the motherfucker walking in the club. Them haters never like me, but the groupies show me love. Buying bottles at the bottle, filling up a nigga cup. And I know they only do it cause I'm looking like the plug. I fuck with the Crips and I fuck with the Bloods. But it's Tillicum on mine, nigga. Shout out to my thug. A certified hustler, I get it from the mud. Niggas stunting so hard, look like I be selling drugs. And I ain't mad at your partner, do what you do. Cause I'm getting new money, all my hunters is blue. I'm taking niggas to school, cause these suckers is fools. I can give you the tools, but you can't do what I do, nigga. Check out my fly ass kicks. Look at my fine ass bitch and my bomb ass whip. I know you see me spinning these chips. You ain't never seen a nigga like this. I be on my shit. 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 I feel like Ric Flair in this bitch. I be on my shit. 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 I feel like Ric Flair in this bitch. I'm flyer than a motherfucking plane, and hotter than a pot of cocaine. Respect my game. If you don't understand what I'm saying, move out the way, my nigga. Let me do my thing. Cause I'm way too seasoned with this shit, and I can't take it call. I'm in the meeting with your bitch. I'm just a fly nigga with dreams to get rich. By any means necessary, I'ma get these chicks. I'm a Rolex wearing, diamond ring shining, limousine riding, Mr. High Profiling, styling, spending money in the club wildin'. Don't focus on me, partner, just look at what I'm buying. Check the credentials, nigga, don't need no co-signing. Everything is authentic, so niggas know I ain't lying. Styling is what I really like to do best. Besides getting this money, put these bitches to the test. Check out my fly ass kicks. Look at my fine ass bitch and my bomb ass whip. I know you see me spinning these chips. You ain't never seen a nigga like this. I be on my shit. 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 I feel like Ric Flair in this bitch. I be on my shit. 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 I feel like Ric Flair in this bitch. Hey.
Alright, again, that was On My Shit, Mike Dees. He's from Tacoma, native to Tacoma. Shout out to him and his music. So episode on episode on Nipsey Hussle. We talked about Dr. Sebi before the break. We're gonna get into Nipsey quotes. So starting off, just a couple of things that other people said about him on their posts, because my timeline was flooded.
My timeline was flooded. The Shade Room, when I tried to go get an It's Too Early for This, was flooded. Everything's flooded with Nip. Nip affected so many fucking lives.
If not the whole country, definitely hip hop, and definitely the West Coast. Like, if you're on the West Coast, you definitely felt this. One of the quotes on Facebook that somebody had posted with theirs is, "This man died right in front of everything he worked for, in a neighborhood he did everything for, in a city he was loved by." That hurts.
That hurt. I read that one and paused, like, damn.
I had posted on my Instagram that we talk about all the time how we need more people like him. Now we have one less. And if you've tapped into Champagne Mornings and you've followed our show, if you listen to our show, we've talked about Nipsey Hussle multiple times, about the good work that he's doing for the black community, how he's helping out in the hood, and just his elevation alone within himself and where he's came from.
We're definitely, you've known we were fans, you know we liked his music as much as the work he's putting in.
It's more than music.
It's more than music. It's the work he's putting in, the work he's doing for those around him, for the community, for the empowerment. He was teaching niggas like financial literacy and shit. Same things we pushed, he was actually out there able to teach people.
So, pull some Nipsey quotes that he's done in different interviews, online. Couple I had already saved in my phone just because, like I said, I love Nipsey. Everybody knows I love Nipsey. But in one, in regards to power, in regards to building the people with power, bridging the gap. He says, after spending time reflecting, meditating, and being honest with myself, I realized it was an obligation for me. I have a responsibility to bridge the gap in all the ways I know how. We talk about this all the time. We talk about people in power using their power for something positive and actually helping out the black community and the importance of that. Nipsey Hussle was one of the few people who are able to do that. Who are some other people who have used their power positively for the community? T.I.
We spoke on him multiple times too. The Carters, our guardian angel Carters, have definitely been making that happen. Chance the Rapper,
definitely. And it's the obligation to your people. Like, just like he says in there, like, you have to be honest with yourself and realize that it is an obligation for you.
that
Like, it's not everybody doesn't have the means to get where they want to go in life, even if they have the will to do it. Sometimes you just need help, so that's definitely important. In the work that we're in, Street Plug DJs, we get hit up by artists all the time. People trying to push their music, people trying to push their artists' music as managers and things like that. Nipsey Hussle, in talking about developing your craft, he says it takes discipline and faith. Those are two factors of what he believes separate the good from the great, the successes from the failures. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, read that back. I zoned.
It
A
takes
straight zone.
discipline and faith. Those are two factors that I believe separate the good from the great, the successes from the failures, in talking about developing your craft.
Oh, I definitely agree. First off, discipline is a main one, because without discipline, you're not going to be a hard worker. You're not doing anything. Without discipline, I've fallen off on my stuff, And then faith is like, you just have to believe it's going to happen. Every move we make, or every move all these artists make when they send us their music, every move we make with starting the radio, with throwing the parties and everything, that's straight faith. That's hoping it's going to play out.
All right, like Jeezy says, trust the process. You got to trust the process. You got to know that you're doing what you're doing for a reason. You got to know that what you're doing and the result that you're trying to get. You're not just doing whatever it is that you're doing. It doesn't matter. Obviously, he was a rapper. He had other business ventures as well. But any entrepreneur should believe in themselves, believe in what you are doing. And if you have some substance behind what you're doing, you're not just a shallow person and you truly want to help people in the long run as well, and you're just trying to put yourself in a position to be able to help somebody in the long run, then it also gives you a reason to keep going and to keep your faith alive, because faith is
Everything.
what it is. Faith is believing in what you cannot see.
And your
Literally.
success is something you cannot physically see right then. You got to believe in that.
You got to believe that what you're doing is going to get you there, walking in that faith and doing it. So definitely that. On leadership, he says, you have to be willing to do every job, even if you're the boss or the leader. It's just something you have to do to fill in the blanks when you're in guerrilla mode.
That's facts. That's like one of the main things you're taught, the difference between being a boss and a leader. Like, when you're the boss and you're just running shit, that's why people quit bosses. When you're the leader, people don't quit you as much because you're willing to get down and get muddy with them to make shit happen correctly.
I think we've even talked about this in our own group with the Street Plug DJs. As you guys know, there's 12 members of us, and when we throw parties or when we're organizing an event or anything, and just helping out one person over another. I'm not a DJ, but if one of our DJs need help doing whatever they need help doing, I got to be there and be available to them. They may not do the private event planning like I do, or the clothes like I do, but if I need them to be able to help me out with something, they have to be there and available to do it. And I think that's a big part of that too, in building a leadership and keeping your team together, but also building yourself to become a better leader. You can't have that attitude that I'm a DJ.
Right, that this is my job, this is all I do.
And we've addressed that to
It
people
pisses
who
me
have been like
off. Like, I get so annoyed with it, especially from me and Bia. Like, we do so much that isn't party planning, that isn't the clothes, I think as a leader or as a team, period, as a person, period, when you're trying to come on the come up, you got to be able to fill whatever position needs to be filled to get to the next step.
Without having an attitude.
And be willing.
Yeah, and holding yourself accountable. On accountability, Nipsey Hussle also said, when you're wrong, you can take responsibility for making the wrong decision. You don't need to rationalize it or explain it. You just own up to it and acknowledge that you fucked up.
Oh, I like that one.
That was a good one because I've had this in application in my own life. That's kind of the take that I do. Now, I might not realize I'm wrong at first, but in realization that I was wrong in a situation, it's like, my bad, I fucked up. I'm not going to make excuses on why I did what I did once I realized where I fucked up.
I feel like if you
I fucked up
continue
right
making excuses on why you're wrong, you're doing just that. You're making excuses. You're not really owning up to it.
Mm-hmm. But then there's some people who are going to be argumentative even in their apology and still just have to get out of their system like, well, I just this, I just that, whatever. Like me and one of my best friends fell out. I had offended her. I didn't even know I had offended her. She brought up to me that I had offended her. And immediately I was just like, damn, I didn't see it like that. I apologize. That was it. And she wasn't ready for that. Like she was ready for an argument. She was ready for the excuses. Like she had
her
already,
thesis statement.
because that's how most people operate. Most people are going to give you an argument before they're just like, I fucked up, I'm sorry. They're going to give you that argument. They're going to justify in their own head what they did, why they did it. Even if it comes down to people just making excuses for something stupid, like, I'm leaving. Okay. You don't have to rationalize and tell me why you're leaving. If you want to leave, then you leave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not something that you have to do. But some people are always going to rationalize and explain. And that is small steps in taking away from being accountable for what you're going to do. Just be accountable.
But the one thing about accountability is I think that's one of the things that you're constantly growing on. You have to actively point out when you're fucking up on that. Because I have to do that with myself. Like, actively point out when you're making excuses, when you're not being accountable, shit like that. That takes growth. Mm-hmm. I think that's, out of all of the ones we just spoke on, that takes real growth.
Sometimes I'll verbalize something to make myself hold myself accountable to it. Because I know that if I tell somebody I'm going to do that, that's my word. Whereas if I, even if it's something about me, you know, if I tell somebody I'm going to have this done by the end of the week, compared to me just telling myself, okay, Shalicia, get that done at the end of the week. For me, that helps me hold myself accountable. Because I have somebody else who is probably going to bring this up. They don't know that I'm using them to help hold myself accountable, you know, but in reality, I do that.
Me and you do that. Like, we'll sit down, like, I need to do this. Okay, nigga, what day are you going to do it by? Let's mark in both our calendars what day you're supposed to have this done. And that's how we hold each other accountable. We may not check up on it, but we both know that this needs to be done by this day. And if it's not done, somebody's going to be called out on that.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And then this last quote I'll go to before we go back into some music. It's talking about the legacy. Now, this quote is actually already saved in my phone as a screenshot. It came from an article with, I want to say Fox 11, when they were doing an interview with him about the shared office space, because me and you talked about how we wanted to start a shared office space, like it would be dope to, and then
like months later,
a month or two later, Nipsey Hussle came out that he was opening his, and it was called Vector.
We spoke on that on here too, didn't we?
90 or something like that. Yeah, we talked about it on Champagne Mornings.
Yeah.
So anyways, in that interview, he, when talking about the legacy, this is something that I already, like I said, I already had it. I'm actually going to put it on a hoodie now. My RIP hoodie for Nipsey Hussle will have the second half of this quote. But it says, talking about the legacy, I call it dropping the rope. You've got to drop the rope. Everybody has to climb, but you got to drop the rope.
Everyone has to climb, but you got to drop the rope.
You got to
give them that chance. You got to pass that on.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was powerful. I read that and I was like, when you read the things that apply to your life, like when you know what I mean, like it solidifies what you was already thinking.
What was already going on in your head. It's like they just gave words to what you couldn't quite put together. But I think that I could see why that one meant so much to you as well, because even back to loveendless.com, when that was started so you could help other people get their businesses up, so people could tap in with you, post their stuff, and still get the business part of it. Like, I will say in almost everything that you do, you drop the rope. Ain't got much of a rope to drop right now. We all on the come up, but you always drop a rope.
Facts. And that's what I was actually gonna say and follow up to that as well. Is like I've said to you multiple times, and I've said to other people, like what I'm building for is for other people to be able to have opportunities because of the path that I've paved. You being my younger sister, there's been opportunities that you've been afforded with, even just working with the Street Plug DJs and Champagne Mornings, that you've been afforded because I was able to help pave that way for you to be around, be here, relationships I've built, whatever. As a leader, that kind of thing just has to continue to elevate. It has to continue to grow. And I have to be able first, but I have to be willing to drop that rope down so that you're afforded even more opportunities. My kids are afforded even more opportunities. My partner's kids, whoever. Some random people that I decide to take under my wing are afforded these opportunities because of me, and that becomes part of my legacy.
Facts. And that's why we've discussed building with people. Like, even if we can't help you build, we can help you figure out where to go, where to start. Like, those are conversations we constantly have with people. We're definitely for the people around us. And even if we don't know you, if you're around us, we're for you.
As long as you can be for yourself. We're not here to drag anybody along. Facts. Like he said, you have to climb, but somebody has to drop the rope. That's all they can do. All they can do is let you know, like, hey, go around the corner, climb that rope, and you'll make it there. If you don't go around the corner and you don't climb that rope, that's not nobody's fault but yours. Or if you go around the corner and be tired by the time you're supposed to climb, you gotta figure it out, bro. Right. It's rope climbing ain't hard. Ain't easy. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna take some stamina and determination to get there where you're trying to go. So it's just crazy. It's crazy. Rest in peace, Nipsey.
This one hurts.
Thank you for everything you've done for us, for the community, for the black community. His legacy's going to live on. Definitely, when he dubbed himself the Tupac of our time.
I didn't know we was getting this part, bruh. I was not ready for this part. You could have been someone else. I wasn't ready for you to go so fast.
And what's so crazy about this, even though I was about to end this, is somebody else said, well, he named his album The Victory Lap. What's left after that?
Damn.
I was like, that hurt. I read it. Damn. I was like, ooh.
That hurt.
Because his other ones, his other
it's the marathon.
Very popular, I was about to say, his very popular one was the marathon. You know what I mean? And then this album was called The Victory Lap. But if you're talking about the sport of track and marathon, the victory lap is the end. It's the end. There's nothing after that. Yeah, the race is over. You did your victory lap, and then that's it. And I was like, it's just the representation of that got to me.
Yeah, that whole thought process, like, that's crazy. That's crazy. This is crazy. I'm processing. I'm real life processing. It feels weird to process a man that I've never actually spoken to. But his life left such an impact that I'm dead ass processing right now.
Yeah, I agree, because this is a tough one for me.
Definitely,
I really feel like I lost a friend that I never even knew.
Facts.
But I feel like I lost a friend. So again, Nipsey, you are loved. We're gonna go ahead and play a song, and then we'll get back to Champagne Mornings as always. The name of this song is 100 Million, featuring Fresco Lee. The name of the artist is L Rock. Shout out to him.
Yeah. I told niggas I plan on being richer than a motherfucker. All my bitches poppin', they gon' do it for the guy. Money in the kitchen, mattress touching on my mind. Fuck 'em all, I could never let 'em slide. I just want $100 million before I die. I just want $100 million before I die. die, before I die, before I die, before I die. I just want $100 million before I die, before I die, before I die, before I die. I just want to
See my city popping on the rise. Everybody eat, gotta prosper and unite. I'm a king amongst kings, plus these queens all on my line. Oh look, I'm the guy, I've been way up in the sky, super fly. Keep these lames taking shots, let them try that suicide. Curry with the hits, never missing when I let it fly. Fuck a hater throwing shade, I'm a diamond, I'm a shine. Nobody in my way, competition, yeah right. Daily ducking feelings, I just need 100 million. Fill that bag up, stack up, look at the billions. Lifted up in the clouds, I don't have no ceiling. Every day and every way, I'm focused on my
all my
business.
bitches poppin', they gon' do it for the guy. Money in the kitchen, mattress touching on my mind. Fuck 'em all, I could never let 'em slide. I just want $100 million before I die. I just want $100 million before I die. Before I die, before I die, before I die. I just want $100 million before I die. I'ma need mine up front though. Before I die, I'm just tryna get it, flip it, book the ticket. Visions reminiscent when I used to whip it. Two things I can't stand, it's some bougie bitches. And the nigga hit the cannon, quick to get the snitches. Took a lot to get it, niggas need to know I died for it. You ain't fucking with me, nigga, need to try more. You'll never elevate your numbers till you buy more. The half and us don't got that bounce to get that high score. Nigga, where the fiends at? Put me in the trap house, I'm not the one you scheme at. My youngins bringing straps out. Bag it on the corner, looking like we taking trash out. Do it till I count 100 million in my stash house. All my bitches poppin', they gon' do it for the guy. Money in the kitchen, mattress touching on my mind. Fuck 'em all, I could never let 'em slide. I just want $100 million before I die. I just want $100 million before I die. Before I die, before I die, before I die. I just want $100 million before I die. Before I die, before I die, before I die. All my bitches poppin', they gon' do it for the guy. Money in the kitchen, mattress touching on my mind. Fuck 'em all, I could never let 'em slide. I just want $100 million before I die. I just want $100 million before I die. Before I die, before I die, before I die. I just want $100 million before I die. Before I die, before I die, before I die. I just want
I just want $100 million before I die.
Before I die. I love how he says die in that song.
Yeah, shout out to him, King Amongst Kings. Make sure you guys go on any music platform and check out that album. He does have some slaps on there. I have a few of them that's made my playlist. Shout out to him. So we're gonna end this, of course, on Black businesses, as we always do. Also, wanted to let you guys know that in light of also talking about Nipsey Hussle, Nick Cannon has said that he plans on finishing the documentary on Dr. Sebi. Of course, like we said at the beginning of the show, it's very wide belief that the reason of Nipsey's death is because he was bringing light to the whole Dr. Sebi issue and how the government shut him down and what he was able to do, and basically getting into the white people's money by doing
into
so.
the pockets real well.
By doing so. So, Nick Cannon, we're going to have to watch out for him now.
If Nick Cannon goes missing, though, it's facts that it was government. Like, you guys can deny it. And I think it's crazy because everybody, like, talks.
And everybody knows Nick Cannon's not gang affiliated. So I actually think that somebody like Nick Cannon finishing it would be a good thing, because what reason would you have? Like, there's no reason
to off
that Nick Cannon's going to have any enemies.
Mm-mm. He just exists and does his life.
Especially any hood enemies.
Not enemies that are offing people like that.
No hood enemies, period. Nick Cannon's not hood. In any
At
way.
all.
So I think that somebody like him, even if it's not him directly, in the car last night when I was with my brother, and we were talking about, like, well, if there's certain people in life that are not supposed to be killed, and if they get killed, it's going to cause an uproar. You seen that with Biggie, you seen that with Pac, you seen that with Malcolm X, you seen that with Martin Luther King. Those were deaths that caused an outrage.
They cause big problems.
You know, You're gonna see that with Nipsey.
You're
Because
starting to see it with Nipsey.
You're already seeing it, yeah. But you're gonna start seeing the outrage part of it with Nipsey. It's gonna be coming soon because in a stage of mourning is anger. When that anger really hits and takes hold, and as they have to start, because they're gonna have to start releasing information about the autopsy. They're gonna have to start releasing this information. One way or another, it's gonna get out, and when it does, you're definitely gonna receive some backlash in the community for his death. And it's like, well, what other people are so prominent that if they died in the rap culture, that if they died, it would cause a major uproar? He said J. Cole. He feels like if they took J. Cole, it would cause a big uproar as well. I feel like the other person in the rap game would be Jay-Z, because Jay-Z not only is loved by his city, by New York, by Brooklyn, he is a major activist in the United States in general.
I agree, Jay-Z. I definitely agree with Jay-Z. And he does so much and tries to keep silent about it. And whether you love his music or don't, you fuck with Jay-Z.
Yeah, but if Jay-Z took this over, there would be still the possibility
Of him saying a hood shooting.
it was a hood shooting. But if it's somebody like Nick Cannon who takes this over, like, there's nothing that you can say. You know what I mean? If they were gonna, not trying to give no ideas, but if they were gonna go after Nick Cannon, they would have to do something like risk somebody else's life and crash a car into him or something
Making
major,
an accident type shit.
some
But at
major
this point,
accident.
if Nick Cannon takes over Dr. Sebi and Nick Cannon dies, he will have been the third person to try and release Dr. Sebi's information, to try and do a documentary at some point, and died. Left
including
Eye was
Dr.
the first.
Sebi himself.
Well, that would make 4. Left Eye was the first. Remember, she was doing her videos on it and died. Now we have Nipsey, who announced he was doing his, is now gone. Dr. Sebi's gone. If you guys off Nick, how are we still denying this? How are we still denying that you guys don't want your pockets touched, so you're doing it?
Right.
My thoughts on this is we're hella broke, and both me and you practice more holistic care, you know? I get sick, I call you, like, what do I do, bruh?
Right.
Us rich, they coming after us, B.
We're gonna be ready for it though. But that's the thing. It's not about. And I'm not saying that you saying that we are, because you know that we're not. But
Right.
throwing this out there, we're not scared.
Facts.
Like, I'm not scared of what may come from me putting in the work that I know I'm supposed
Oh,
to
I didn't
put
say
in.
we was stopping at all.
And I'm saying that for the listeners.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to stop what we're going to do, even though we know that we potentially can come a target. We've known that just in light of what we decided to talk about with Champagne Mornings, period.
Multiple
and putting
times.
ourselves in that spotlight about some of the things that we bring about. Like, they going to hate you. It's cool. Let them hate us.
Fuck
you know
the
what I mean?
Police is our most loved and most hated segment. We have police officers, they'll add me, tap in, speak their piece and dip. Like the one I tried to get on, who had a whole argument with me but refused to come on air. Like, we do it because it needs to be known. This shit needs to be discussed. If it gotta be us, I just read a post on Facebook that was like, we got to make you guys woke, we gotta become sacrifices. We're gonna throw ourselves up there to help people, to help change some shit.
So make sure you guys continue to live for your legacy, can continue to be for your legacy. Make sure you drop the rope. Make sure you help those out, those who are less fortunate than you, those who don't have the opportunities as you. Help them get somewhere in life. We're going to go ahead and end Champagne Mornings this morning. Do you have a black business to shout out?
I did have a black business if my phone didn't die yet. Pamper Me Lavish Self-Care, because I feel like when grieving and mourning like we all are, you should take care of yourself. I'll throw her Instagram up. Female, she got like body care stuff, smell goods, honeys and oils and all that good shit. Rose soap, it looks fire. Look at it.
So we're going to go ahead and put her page, tag it on our Instagram page. So make sure you guys go on there, follow us, Champagne Morning Show on Instagram, and on all platforms. Make sure you follow the Street Plug DJs. Follow myself, Bia_King.
And me at Pretty Simple Key.
We appreciate you guys always listening to Champagne Mornings. Again, if you're listening to this on YouTube or a different platform, our show is live on Street Plug Radio on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 a.m. All you have to do is download a free app The name of the app is Tune In. Search Street Plug Radio. Make sure you give us a heart and favorite our station so that we pop up for you when you log on or go into your app and tune into Champagne Mornings. We appreciate you guys.
If you're catching this on YouTube, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button. Get that number up. We appreciate you.
Facts. Take care.